Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
But tell me, Eddie, is that a rabbit in your pocket or you're just happy to see me?
Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am going to be off camera tonight. I was telling Steve backstage that I split my nail on my right index finger, and where it split was like at the nail bed. So basically, I did not want to put any makeup on and risk possibly re-aggravating it when I take it off, because I don't know for sure if I can get it fixed or not at the salon. Because I have to go to the salon to get it fixed. So it was very fucking painful this evening when it happened. So I'm just gonna stay off camera for this evening. If I can get it fixed tomorrow, then I will do the reading. I will continue with my plan on doing the reading stream at least for one chapter tomorrow evening. If I can start early enough, I might just finish the book one tomorrow. If I can start around no later than 8 p.m. Eastern, I might just finish the last remaining 2 chapters of book one in Fellowship of the Ring and then take Friday off, but we'll see. But anyway, welcome everyone. And while I'm tweeting out, because I forgot to do so beforehand, that we are live, Stieg, let everybody know where they can find you if you want them to, and all that fun stuff.
Well, this Saturday, actually, I will be found on YouTube. I'll be on with Teresa and Rennie. We're gonna talk about the old Thrawn trilogy books. Talking about something we like and how we got into that book series, I guess, and how we liked it back in the day. It's a bit of a nostalgia thing.
I wish I wasn't so checked out.
It's good
that
to
franchise.
check in way back sometimes. That's fine.
So. But anyway, chat, welcome. So yeah, we are here. So if you're like new to these streams, we are basically talking our own personal top 10 lists of 1996. So like these movies do not necessarily have to be objectively good. They could be like literally objectively bad. It's all boils down to perception and subjectivity in our entertainment of these films. So like I said, I kind of miss the 1990s too. Jarrell, I see your comment, but I'm gonna go through the chat on this side. But welcome everyone. Hope you enjoy the discussion. Despite the fact that I'm not on camera. But as I said, if I get my nail fixed tomorrow, I will be on camera tomorrow evening. And chances are with an acrylic nail on my one finger. So like 9 natural nails and 1 acrylic just to fucking fix it. Hello, ready for a lit discussion, especially because 1996 is Trey's birthday year, and his birthday is coming up this Friday. So everyone wish Trey a happy early birthday, because 2 movies are coming out that I want to see this weekend, and he's going to see this weekend. That we're both kind of looking forward to. Love Hurts and Hard Eyes. So, put that cookie down. I did not have that movie on my list. I have seen it, but I did not put it on my list. I had to narrow my list down from 55 films. So, 55 films. I had to narrow it down to 10. Yeah, so I see, it's all in the hips. Just tap it in. Just tap it in. Yeah,
1996 was when I lost my virginity. Okay. That doesn't mean I'm Trey's dad, though.
It would be funny as fuck if you were.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for posting my PayPal link, Trey. If you want to send direct donations, appreciate it.
It means I can beat Trey with a belt, and it'll be okay because I'm just like teaching him shit.
Jaluk with the member message. Thank you so much. He's still under the weather, so be lurking. No worries, Jaluk. Hope you feel better soon. Mr. Bentham, what is up? Good to see you. Numsky, hello. Like I said, I did not have Jingle All the Way on my list. I had to narrow it down from 55 movies. So, and I included nostalgia in it a little bit and so forth. So it's like I had to leave it off.
I've literally been shagging since Trey was shitting his pants.
Oh my god.
Granted, that could have been yesterday, but yeah, okay,
Oh my god.
Traditionally.
Mike, no, I have not checked out the first Jurassic World Rebirth trailer. I have like no real inclination to watch that movie, so I had no real inclination to watch the trailer. Maybe at some point I will, but I've not seen it yet. Tara Crystal, what is up? Hello, hello. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. No, I did not see that. I think that was 97. I want to say 97. It was not 97. I know that it was about a couple of years or so after Mortal Kombat, the first Mortal Kombat movie in 1995. So I was right. Okay, Trey said 97. I was right. I want to say 97, but I wasn't entirely sure. Because I remember it was at least a couple of years after the first Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah.
Annihilation came out.
The budget was even less, I seem to remember.
You know what? And I would watch Annihilation before I would watch the 2021 movie again. So yeah. And this is my Kick. Thank you so much. I dual stream on Kick and Twitch right now. I did not want to give up my Twitch necessarily because I work so hard to build it up. And I say on Kick because you have that 95/5 split for payment, which helps pretty much. If Restream didn't up their price for how many platforms you could stream to, I would break down and pay for a Restream account to stream to more than 2 sites at a time. But unfortunately, it's like $20 just for 3 platforms versus however many it was before they upped the price. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. I would like plunk down, like, try to plunk down like $20 if it were like, say, 5 platforms, because that would be about $4 per platform, and that would be worth it in my opinion. Then I could stream on my 2 YouTube channels, my Kick, my Twitch, and hell, even go so far as to get a verified account on X so I could stream there as well. But no, I'm not paying $20 for like just 3 platforms. So yeah. And I have a Discord. Whenever I play multiplayer games, I have a voice chats for like multiplayer games that people join me. I do watch parties there also occasionally, so people have a break from the cringe that is out there in terms of pop culture. Yeah, Independence Day is on my list. It is on my list, despite the fact that it makes my eyes twitch sometimes with the military lingo they use, and I'm like, that's not what we fucking say, but I still subjectively enjoy the movie. I personally do not think it's that objectively good, but I overall enjoy it, and the second one was shit. Soul Assassin, hello. Good to see you. Index finger. My right index finger is where I split the nail. Yeah, I hope Love Hurts delivers. I'll be fine if Hard Eyes is like so bad it's good, because that's a slasher movie. But I'm really hoping Love Hurts delivers, just because I like the actor, just purely nostalgia reasons at this point, because he was Short Round in Temple of Doom and Data and Goonies. So it's kind of like my childhood a little bit there. Tara Crystal, 1996 movies, Trainspotting, which I have seen. The Craft, which is on my list. Independence Day is on my list. Mars Attacks did not make the list, but I've seen it. That Thing You Do did not make the list. Space Truckers, Executive Decision, Emma, Escape from LA did not make the list. Emma? Sure Emma came out in 96? I can't remember if I've seen that or not. Dragonheart, which, hold on, did make my list. Mulholland Falls, The Frighteners made my list. Broken Arrow did not make my list. So, but welcome everyone. Dinner Bells, hello. Good to see you all. Make sure I don't miss anyone. Star Wars Scran, what is up? Good to see you. Yeah, I like I said, like, if it was 5 for $20 at one point, and like they just upped the price, so basically you only get 3 platforms for the price you would have paid for 5, like a year or so ago. Yes, I've seen Rumble in the Bronx. It was not listed in the American films necessarily, but I have seen it. I think it was no. I was going to say my first Jackie Chan film, but I'm trying to think back, and like if that was Super Cop. No, I think so. I saw Rumble in the Bronx first. I think I saw that one first.
So.
Mine was would Cannonball Run count as a
For-
Jackie Chan because he's in it?
So, well, I would like he's in it, but I would not call it a Jackie Chan film because he's not the star. It's an ensemble film.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
like I would call Rumble in the Bronx a Jackie Chan film because he is the main character. Same with Super
Yeah.
Cop. So, but yeah, I know
Well-
Jackie Chan was in the Cannonball Run.
Yeah, that was the first time I saw him. But I think the first Jackie Chan movie where he was the lead was probably Drunken Master.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, so yeah, welcome chat, and as we normally do with these streams, is Steve rolls a d20 to see who goes first, and I make him do it every time because it could eventually go his way. It never does. It hasn't done so at any point up till now, but it could eventually go his way where he starts first.
Well, do you want 1 to 10 or 11 to 20?
11 to 20.
17.
His die likes me now, but hates me when we're playing D&D.
Well, it's been nice to you in D&D for quite a while now. Ever since that war fucked you up.
Nicer. Nicer, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
All right. But anyway, this one, I'm not going to go too much of detail into this movie because it's not exactly complicated, but like the plot itself, I don't want to give away too many details necessarily because if you have not seen it, I would recommend it because I think it's kind of an underrated superhero film that I don't think too many people know about. Like it's not necessarily objectively the best one ever made, but it flew under the radar to the point where I don't think too many people have seen it or even know about it, and that is The Phantom with Billy Zane.
That's on my list too.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to talk about it a lot, so I can give you a chance to give your input to it. But like I said, it's not exactly complicated, but
it's damn fun.
Well, it's damn fun, but the background's a little bit detailed, so it's like I don't want to go into it's like how the Phantom essentially comes into being. In a sense, if I'm making
it's
sense,
actually not the way in the movie.
I know, but I don't want to give anything away necessarily in the movie. But anyway, it's a superhero film. Stars Billy Zane as Kit Walker, and he is the 21st Phantom, basically. Yeah. So this is like a moniker that has been around for a long time. I'm just going to say it that way. I'm just going to say it that way.
Do you know how the first one happened? It's not the way it happens in the movie.
Never really read the.
Well, he was part of Christopher Columbus's crew.
Ah, okay.
And he traveled to America and then blah blah blah. And he went back on his own ship, started trading. When he was probably in his 30s, and then he got sunk by pirates and befriended pygmies, and the pygmies were hunted by regular sized people, and then they had like this idol that looked like the Phantom. So he basically tricked them because he made the costume that made him look like the idol, and then they started worshiping him and stuff. So almost like what they do in the movie, but
yeah, it's set in like the 1930s, I want to say, basically. So it's essentially a time period piece, at least when the movie is set. And like I said, Kit Walker, played by Billy Zane, is the 21st one. So it's like this is a moniker that's been passed down generation to generation. He's the current Phantom.
Yeah.
Who is basically what I would say what inspired, essentially, as Trey pointed out, is what Batman came from, basically. So it's kind of inspired Batman in a sense.
Yeah.
And
there has been female Phantoms too.
Yeah. So it's again, it's like I think it's like a superhero movie that should have gotten at least a bit more recognition. It did not do well at the box office. I partly blame a little bit of marketing on that, but it's very much an enjoyable movie. Yeah, I could do like a watch party of it sometime, essentially, because you have his ex-girlfriend played by Kirsty Swanson. In the movies, you have Catherine Zeta-Jones, James Remar, Patrick McGowan, Treat Williams, Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa, whom people would know from Mortal Kombat 1995 as Shang Tsung, and others in this film, and so essentially his ex-girlfriend. I'm trying to say enough of the plot without giving a lot away. Because basically it involves his ex-girlfriend, whose uncle owns like this newspaper. All right, he owns this newspaper, and as a result, the uncle has uncovered there's a Xander Drax is the villain essentially, and it's uncovered basically the Drax's evil motives pretty much. So, as a result, the uncle sends Diana to investigate because Diana's like kind of a world traveler, and well, the plot basically goes from there. That I don't want to say hell breaks loose, but the Phantom has to be called into action to bring down Drax. Not Drax from MCU, not that buffoon. They made him so buffoonish, but Xander Drax. So yeah, it's like an actual mantle. So it's like the Phantom is the moniker basically, is because it's passed down. It's generational, so it's passed down.
Yeah, and they always name the sons Kit or Chris.
Mm-hmm.
So when Kit dies, his son will be Chris. If it's a girl, it's Julie.
Mm-hmm.
And the Phantom franchise turns 90 next year, so this is old school.
Yeah, like it's like 90 next year, so it'll be 1936. Like I said, which also basically inspired what became Batman.
Yeah,
in Detective Comics. It's like I said, it's corny in times of the times of the dialogues I saw, like Terry Crystal saying, "There's no smoking in the Phantom Cave." It's like a little bit corny with the dialogue at times, but I think it's like a fun superhero movie that did not necessarily that I'm not saying deserved like a lot of recognition, but at the same time, I think it did not get enough recognition for what it was, like basically an enjoyable superhero movie. So
yeah,
that's not a lot of people have seen.
It's like The Rocketeer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So great fun, campy, and it doesn't take itself too seriously.
Yeah, like don't take it seriously when you're watching it. Pretty much, it's like
Billy Zane is fantastic as the Phantom.
Like I said, I've said he's an underrated actor.
Yeah, and he was not the first choice. The first choice said no, and that was Bruce Campbell.
I love Bruce Campbell, but I'm glad it was Zane because Bruce Campbell would have played Bruce Campbell in that role.
I think so.
And I don't. I guess as much as I love Bruce Campbell, I don't think it would have worked.
If they ever do a new Phantom movie, I want Henry Cavill to play the Phantom.
Oh, he could be good.
Oh yeah, he even looks like what he looks like in the comics.
James Remar is also an underrated actor. I think very underrated. And he was willing to admit, it's like hey, the reason why I was kicked off of Aliens, why I didn't do much work around then is because I fucked up my life by doing drugs. Like he admitted he messed up. He didn't blame anyone else but himself. So I give him credit for that. He said that was all on me.
Robert Patrick did the same thing because he had a drug problem after Terminator 2. He was basically clean when he filmed Terminator 2. And then he got the money from the movie, so he went partying.
Yep. So, but yeah. like see, the thing is, like, it's like there were like good elements. Like Remar was he was played Raiden in Annihilation, right?
Yeah.
So like, there were like good elements to the movie, particularly him, some of the acting and so forth, but just the overall movie itself, in my opinion, is not good. However, I will watch it. Well before I would watch the 2021 movie ever again.
James Remar should do more westerns. He has the western look.
Same with Michael Biehn.
Yeah. He did a western TV show. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like he's good. Like,
Oh,
he is
yeah.
very good. So he has that look too.
He can't do it anymore. I think he had a stroke or something, and he has memory issues.
Yeah, I know, but like, in terms of looks, like he was like perfect for Western films.
Yeah.
If you're referring to the 2021 Mortal Kombat movie, in my opinion, it's not worth watching. They insert a completely made up character for the movie. They sideline Scorpion. And they do a bunch of other shit where I'm like, that makes absolutely no fucking sense. For example, and this is going to give a little bit of the plot away, but it's not exactly a plot. It's not exactly like a spoiler alert necessarily or anything like that. How they're picked, shall we say, for the Mortal Kombat, which by the way never fucking happens in the movie, but how they're picked is that each one is born with a mark, basically. Like a tattoo kind of mark on their bodies. And that's what sets them apart from everyone else. And like, so they're the ones chosen kind of randomly by birth, not by skill, but by fucking birth, to be part of Mortal Kombat. However, if say that individual is killed before engaging in the competition, whomever kills that person will now receive the mark. So if I accidentally hit and run, insert woman driver joke here. If I accidentally hit one with a mark and kill that person, I will get the mark, even though I would not at all be worthy of the competition. I would just receive it because I bested, quote unquote, the one with the mark. That's how fucking stupid it was. I'm just saying. Anyway, that's my little rant for 2021. That's like, the biggest issue I had with that movie, among other issues with that film. The sequel, Annihilation, is not objectively good, in my opinion, but I think that subjectively, in a way, like, so bad it's good. Annihilation. And I would watch it before I'd watch 2021 ever again. In fact, Minority Home and I almost got into Mortal Kombat ourselves over the 2021 movie because she enjoyed it and I fucking hated it. Anyway, that is The Phantom. My number 10 is The Phantom from 1996 with Billy Zane and Kirstie Swanson and a host of other actors and actresses.
Yeah. I actually tweeted out that I was watching it the other day and got quite a bit of likes. It is much loved, that movie.
It became like a cult classic after it was released. Because people were not aware that like it was released in '96, and then like subsequent rentals following it has made it kind of a cult classic.
Yeah, The Phantom was huge in Norway and Northern Europe. But the comics, I think they're still making them, and I've spoken to people in Brazil. They tend to have the same shit as Norway does. Same for some reason. It's like a colony. They have the same favorite movies that weren't shown in the US much, and the same comics.
Yeah, the first 10 minutes of 2021 Mortal Kombat is the only really good part of that entire movie, and then it goes downhill from there. Thank you for becoming a member. Some Norwegian guy, much appreciated, and they remember Message Might Kill. The 4K version of Crocodile Dundee will edit out the crossdresser scene and the slurs. And
Okay.
yep, yeah, don't watch the 4K version. Go old school.
Never buying it.
Yeah. Anyway, you're at number 10, Trey. Or Stieg. I looked at Trey's comment.
Yeah.
You're number 10, Stieg.
He and I look similar anyway. So
Well, he could be his father, so
yeah. Well, my number 10, I suspect might be on your list and many other people's list. Happy Gilmore.
yes, it's on my list.
It's not your number 1, huh?
No, it's not my number 1.
Okay. Well, Adam Sandler movie plays a little bit of a simpleton like he always does. This guy has a temper, though.
Yes.
Wanted to be a hockey player, had more rage than talent.
Yes.
His grandmother is being evicted from her house and has to live in a rest home. He doesn't like that, so he starts playing golf to get money for her, basically.
Yeah.
He gets. It turns out he can do a drive. Can't do a putt, but anything where you have to hit it hard, he can do.
Yeah.
And he gets trained by Carl Weathers.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a villain, Shooter McGavin, who was an excellent villain.
Yeah, he's like he's a douchebag, but like he's fun to watch.
Yeah.
In the movie.
And he eats little shits for breakfast.
Yeah, I love that line.
Yeah, and it's getting a sequel. I don't know why, but it is.
Yeah.
It's on its way. But this is, a lot of people will bash Adam Sandler movies and stuff. And here's the thing. Every time you watch an Adam Sandler movie, silly as they are, they make you happier, don't they? They cheer you up.
A little bit. Depending on the movie, because there are one or two where I'm like, yeah, that's really bad. But for the most part, the movie itself, again, would might not be objectively good, but for some reason, his presence, the characters that he plays, you can't help it, it's like, yeah, I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, it's I actually saw, I think it was Brendan Fraser was praising the hell out of Adam Sandler, and he praised him well too.
Mm-hmm.
He made a really good case for him. But yeah, I'll defend Adam Sandler movies. I think the world needs more movies like that. It doesn't.
At least it's his at least his earlier films. That feel.
Yeah.
So yeah, Happy Gilmore is on my list higher up.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, I have Happy Gilmore. I think everyone's probably seen that one, and it's probably one of his best overall.
Yeah. Overall, I'd say it's, if not his best, it's right up there.
Yeah.
It probably, for most people, would probably be tied between this and Billy Madison. If you were to ask anyone.
That one I
can't
stand.
I know what I'm saying, but if you were to ask anyone if it's earlier movies, it's typically that. Maybe Waterboy.
Wedding Singer?
I'm saying, where it's what? Well, I was like, that's maybe not, only because it's more of
as a romantic comedy.
Yeah, it's more of a rom-com versus a an Adam Sandler comedy.
Yeah, Big Daddy or whatever it is. That one's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would chalk up Wedding Singer, even though that's an Adam Sandler movie, as more of a rom-com.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, so yeah. I'll go into my thoughts when we get to where it is on my list. But number 9, you start this one.
Yeah, number 9 is very much an under the radar movie, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Freeway.
I've not seen that one. No.
It is a dark, modern retelling of Little Red Riding Hood. Starring Reese Witherspoon, plays a bit of a kind of almost trailer trash-ish. Her mom's a whore, her dad's a junkie. Um, and the wolf in this story is Kiefer Sutherland, who plays a serial killer. Uh, he could not be more fucked up, actually. This is dark as shit, but it's also full of humor as well. So, very dark humor, excellently acted. Reese Witherspoon's fantastic in it. And she is not politically correct in this movie whatsoever. And neither is Kiefer Sutherland. I'd give this a solid 8. Lots of, I guess, a little bit of shock value. Brooke Shields is in it too. But yeah, it's R-rated, big time. If anyone of you in the chat or whatever haven't seen it, I'll vouch for this one. Definitely, probably a cult classic for some, or something.
Yeah, I need to watch it because I tend to like dark takes on fairy tales or modern takes on fairy tales that are done well.
Oh, this one's right up your alley then. This is dark as shit.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes like, fucked up funny, right? And then boom, dark as hell. And then fucked up funny again. And it is violent. Really violent.
Okay, Freeway. All right.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, yeah, I'm going to have to check that out.
Trey, this is one for you, actually. I think this is right up your alley.
And he's okay. Also,
yeah, a lot of people haven't heard of it because it's under the radar,
which is unfortunate for most films. Like I said, I partly blame the marketing.
Yeah.
So, but okay. My number 9 is, in my opinion, not that necessarily that objectively good. I think Jeff Goldblum plays Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith plays Will Smith. But it's kind of fun to see an alien invasion of Earth, and who didn't love seeing the White House explode, be like destroyed by the aliens, at least at the time. And that's Independence Day. Yes, like I said, I think Jeff Goldblum plays Jeff Goldblum. Will Smith plays Will Smith. Vivica A. Fox is she's good. I'm not going to buy it in any way, shape, or form that she becomes a doctor or something, and then sequel when she's a stripper in this one. I'm all for going back to school and everything, but Jesus Christ.
Maybe she does sexual healing.
Yeah, I'm just saying, that is way much of a stretch, basically. But yeah, it is Independence Day. Basically, aliens enter Earth's atmosphere and they position their spacecraft above certain locations on Earth, and they don't do anything. They just hover there for a while, and Earth, and they try to communicate with the aliens, only to discover, surprise, surprise, that the aliens are evil and want to basically decimate Earth. And it's up to I don't know, what was Jeff Goldblum's career? Didn't he fix? It's something involving TV or something like that. He prepared shit, even though he was incredibly smart. He was doing what would be considered menial work for his TV. That's what I thought. But it was but he's supposed to be incredibly intelligent, and he's doing menial work. But at any rate, he's the one that figures out the aliens' intentions and tries to warn people, and they don't listen, and so basically it becomes "I told you so," and now we have to fight for survival, and so forth, to the point where it comes down to a last stand between Earth and the aliens, with Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum kind of doing a sneak attack from behind, so to speak,
And
on one
Randy,
on the
Randy
alien
Quaid.
movies. What? Yeah,
Randy.
Randy Quaid, which he was basically probably the most quoted from that movie, or like if you like see like gifs from that movie, it's either Will Smith punching the alien saying "Welcome to Earth," Bill Pullman saying today we celebrate our Independence Day, or Randy Quaid saying "Hello boys, I'm back," as in his epic scene.
Oh, Will Smith almost croaked in a blizzard last week. Did you see that?
No.
He got lost in the blizzard. The park rangers had to look for him, but thankfully they looked for Fresh Prince in the snow.
Oh god damn. Yeah, he did punch the president, but he wasn't the president at the time. That's his excuse essentially. So yeah, but those are basically the main quotes. Like, if you see a GIF, if whatever people quote, like those are like the three big ones that people will quote from that movie. Yeah, Brent Spiner or Spine, whatever his last name is, how it's pronounced. He's in this. He's a scientist. He also has long hair, and I remember when I first saw the movie, and I was like, "Is that no? That can't be him," because he doesn't look how he normally does. I'm not saying as not like he normally looks as Data, but his hair is normally shorter, and in this movie is longer. So I'm like, that can't be him.
That's probably why they did it, to make him look not like Data.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So basically, it pretty much is It's pretty much an action movie, Earth versus aliens, and basically survival.
With special effects that Jurassic Park opened the door for.
Yes. And I think the biggest reason people saw this movie initially is because they wanted to see the White House get blown up.
Yeah.
But anyway, that is my number 9, Independence Day. So, like I said, objectively, in my opinion, not that good, because there is some military jargon used in that movie where I'm like, it makes my eye twitch. And the two main leads play like themselves essentially in this movie. I did like Judd Hirsch. I thought I enjoyed his character because
He's awesome.
He played Jeff Goldblum's dad. I enjoyed his character. I liked his character.
That's a seriously underrated actor.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the idiot's at the top of the skyscraper, and I'm like, yeah, you're gone. So yeah, but anyway, that's my number 9, Independence Day.
Yeah.
So number 8 is another film that I don't think got a lot of recognition necessarily. Sorry. But in terms of fantasy movies, I very much enjoy it. I don't exactly like how it has to end, which I'm not going to go into. And if those who have seen the movie will know exactly what I'm talking about. But it stars Dennis Quaid, David Thewlis, Peter Postlethwaite, Dina Meyer, Julie Christie, and Sean Connery in one of his most epic roles, so to speak. And that is Dragonheart. Right? Basically, Dennis Quaid plays a knight who is mentoring the future king, basically this prince named Aenon, who is played by David Thewlis. And David Thewlis' character is the biggest little douche on the planet. All right, biggest little douche on the planet, very narcissistic, and is itching to rule, itching to become king. He does not want to necessarily he's being forced to wait his turn, so to speak. Basically when his father bites to dust, which ends up happening, in a way. But at the same time, I'm not going to go into details of how this happens. Aenon is wounded. He's mortally wounded. And so his mother and Sir Bowen, played by Dennis Quaid, go to see this dragon. Okay? I'm trying to remember the dragon's name.
Draco.
Okay, I should have remembered that, basically. Draco. Voiced by Sean Connery. And to save the kid, Draco gives the prince part of his heart. hence Dragonheart, hence the title. So, which ultimately saves the prince, who becomes a megalomaniac. And like basically, I like the character of Sir Bowen, because Sir Bowen's like conflicted, just about like through most of the movie, because he's still loyal to the queen, like the prince's mother, well, the prince now king, but like his mother, he's loyal to her, and thus like he feels like compelled to still protect the king, make excuses for him, and things like that. At the same time, he's like just he's hating what he's seeing. He's hating how like what the prince has become, and he gets to a point where it's like he like is compelled to do like to actually do something about it. And I don't want to say too more about that, because like how how it transpires is sad in a way, but very good, movie, very underrated fantasy.
It does one thing that's not common in fantasy. If there's a female warrior in a fantasy movie, she will always use a bow and arrow or a sword, right? In this movie, Dina Meyer runs around with an axe and a shield.
Yeah,
that you never really see that. They always get a sword or a bow and arrow.
Yeah. No, I basically just watched the first one, and like that was, when I say enough for me, it's like more not because like it's like it's like oh like I didn't enjoy the like Dragonheart. Typically, I tend to avoid sequels because inevitably, more often than not, I should say, they are disappointments. Like they fall short of the original. The music score is by Randy Ellerman, whom I believe is an underrated composer, and it is phenomenal in my opinion. Like the main score itself is just beautiful for this film, and I think it's like it's like again, it did well at the box office, but at the same time, it's like not, in my opinion, as well known as other fantasy movies. Overall did well. Like it didn't do great. It did well.
The main complaint from what I remember was the fact that the dragon looked very CGI.
Which is like I'm fine with. Okay. It's like because some it's like not all studios had access to like what those who worked on Jurassic Park had access to. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm gonna it's like I will forgive that. Nowadays, no, like I will not forgive it, because I'm like, technology has advanced so much, and like you're telling me that that's the best you can do, fuck you. But back then, like it's like a year, a couple, not that long after Jurassic Park came out, so not every studio had like access to like the phenomenal CGI effects or anything like that. So I'm like, yeah, but people complain. Yeah, so. Again, Trey, I would recommend you watching Dragonheart, checking that out.
Oh, heck yes.
Yeah, so if you have not seen it.
It's not on my list, but it's still a fun movie.
Yeah.
No.
So, yeah, like there's not been a sequel, but yeah, but yeah, you might like it, Trey. You might like it. Yeah, I'm saying like for '96, it's like not bad. Like I said, it wasn't Jurassic Park level, but not every studio had that technology working for them. So it's like I can excuse that. I'm not going to go, oh my god, like this effects are so bad because the dragon obviously looks fake. Well, no fucking shit. Dragons don't exist. I can excuse that. I can't excuse. I wouldn't excuse it now, but back in '96, yeah, it wasn't bad. Hell, you want to see dated effects for a dragon? Watch Dragon Slayer. The practical effects are phenomenal, and they still fucking hold up. But the CGI, yeah, that's dated. You can tell right away that that's fake.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm saying, but I excuse it because it's, from the 80s. So I'm like...
Yeah. The dragon in Dragon Slayer looks great until it's flying. Then it looks like a paper airplane.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, the practical effects still hold up. They are fucking phenomenal. Because when it's up close, that's practical effects.
Yeah,
are mostly practical effects. The flying
It wa-
one, obviously,
it was. It was one
CGI.
of the.
So
I think it was one of the last movies to use stop motion.
yeah.
Something.
So like,
It
mhm,
won. It won the Oscar for the special effects. Actually.
yeah. But when it's flying, yeah, you can tell, and like those effects are dated. But
Yeah.
again, I'm not saying that's negative. I'm just saying I excuse it for the time because of technology hadn't advanced yet. I excuse Dragonheart for the time because technology hasn't quite advanced yet. But people were complaining about that. And I'm like, that is like, there's other things if you want to complain about in this movie, you can complain about that would make more sense than the dragon looks fake. I'm like, no shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just my opinion. Anyway, Dragonheart is my number 8.
Yeah. My turn. I think.
Yes. Yep.
My number 8 is an action movie. I don't think it went under the radar, but it wasn't really acknowledged as a great one either. Broken Arrow. Is that on your list?
No, it did not make my list. It made like the overall list of movies I had seen, but did not make my
Yeah.
list.
Yeah, well, it's Christian Slater and John Travolta who were on a bit of a roll in the mid to late 90s. Pulp Fiction had just revived Travolta's career.
Mm-hmm.
And Christian Slater, he was a big name in the 90s. Both of them play fighter pilots. They're flying a jet or whatever it was, and they have warheads on board.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
Travolta betrays Christian Slater and steals the warheads. Hence a broken arrow. That's what the term is when they lose a warhead or whatever it was. Christian Slater tries to get the warheads back because there's there's a rush to get them back, and he teams up with the local park ranger lady, and lots of action ensues. There's great action. Travolta's probably the one who seals the show in this movie. He's fantastic as the villain. But it is a straight up action movie. There's nothing, no reinventing the wheel in this one at all. But great fun and a great one to rewatch. Lasting appeal, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, not much to say about it, really.
Yeah,
Just
it's pretty much straight up action.
Yeah, solid but not fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And my number 7 is The Phantom, which we have talked about.
Well, you can give your own input a little
Well,
bit more if you want to talk about it.
Well, it's basically
And just to answer Ornette's question, like I had a little bit of a rant about Mortal Kombat 2021, which is why I kind of were behind. But yeah, there it is.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Well, The Phantom, I'm basically in complete agreement with you.
Mm-hmm.
This is underrated as heck. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and it probably ends up being a better movie because of that.
Mm-hmm.
The Phantom, though, the original source material is supposed to be a bit more serious and a bit more dark, and it's not supposed to be like goofy and campy, but for this movie it works.
Mm-hmm.
And this is classic pulp. I wouldn't say it's a superhero, really. More of a pulp hero.
Well, I would say like harkens back, like I would say about the Rocketeer, like harkens back to the serials of the 1930s, like Captain Midnight and Flash Gordon, and where it's like plenty of pulp in those ones. So like that's what it makes me feel when I watch like the Phantom and Rocketeer.
The Phantom was in was it Defenders of the Universe, which was kind of like an Avengers thing. It was him and the Flash and Mandrake.
Mm-hmm.
So watching Flash Gordon and the Phantom as a double feature, or even adding the Rocketeer in there as a triple feature, you'd be spot on, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, can be fun. Great for rewatchability. Very good performances. Catherine
Mhm.
Zeta-Jones is awesome in it. Actually, she's like a jealous bitch because
Yeah.
she thinks she can have the Phantom right off the bat, and he's kind of no, not interested. And she figures, oh, he likes Christy Swanson, so she basically starts shitting on her, going, "Yeah, the guy you're thinking of, the Phantom, he's dead by now." Shit like that.
Hmm.
But yeah, fun movie. I wish I had it on Blu-ray. It's hard to find.
I think Rocketeer. I still love watching the movie. I think it's like one of the ones that also kind of flew under the radar a little bit. Not as much as like the other movies, but kind of flew under the radar a little bit. You have Billy Campbell as the lead, Jennifer Connelly as the love interest, Timothy Dalton as the villain,
Yeah,
Paul Sorvino. Why am I blanking? Terry O'Quinn in the movie who
yeah,
plays Howard Hughes. It's like set in the 1930s, and it's like reminiscent of the 1930s serial. It's like I said, of like Flash Gordon, Captain Midnight, and so forth. Basically,
yeah.
I think like it's like worth watching.
Hell yes.
Hmm. And it's like it's fun. Like yeah, it's like wholesome fun, but at the same time, it's like it's like there's still a little bit of like dark undertones to it. And there's a character in there that was like there was a character in there like that they made up to look like an actual person. Why am I blanking on his name? Okay, real fast. I gotta like look it up. I'm blanking on.
Both of these movies, Rocketeer and the Phantom, I'd say it's also safe to watch with your family, even if
Mhm.
you have young kids. It is you know family friendly. There's no sex in it or anything.
Yeah, it's that's what the wholesomeness is.
One
Trying
one
like
thing I noticed though with the Phantom that was a bit off. When they find the pirates,
mhm,
why are the pirates dressed like they're from the 1700s?
true. Well, that hence the campiness.
Yeah, because it's like,
But
yeah, it's they haven't changed their dress code since the 1700s.
But the character I'm thinking of, I mean, I can't remember what the character's name is in The Rocketeer, but he's made up to look like an actual actor back from like 1930s and 40s named Rondo Hatton. If you want to have an idea of so if you have not seen The Rocketeer and want to have an idea of what this one character looks like, look up Rondo Hatton, and you'll get an idea. But that's what he looked. That's what that the actor himself actually looked like.
Yeah.
Anyway, I know that because I grew up watching movies on not just TCM but AMC when it used to be actually American movie classics, not what it is today.
Old movies are
Um,
awesome.
yeah, but
Seriously.
I've seen movies from every decade, even like going back to the teens when like the silent film shorts and era.
Yeah. The,
So yeah, I've seen
the
movies from every
original
decade.
Nosferatu.
Yeah,
That's from the silent film era.
yeah, yeah. So not are we do our number 7, right?
Yeah, I just did number 7.
Yeah.
So
So
it's your turn.
my number 7 is actually a Peter Jackson film. I don't think that many people know about it.
I know about it.
I've seen from Dusk Till Dawn. It's not on my list, but I have seen it. It's one of the few Tarantino movies that I'll put on and I sit through like entirely and watch. It's I don't think that Tarantino is necessarily overrated, but I think some of his movies get
Well,
more praise than they deserve.
he only produced this one. Robert
Yeah.
Rodriguez directed it.
Yeah. So, but it's considered semi Tarantino film.
Yeah, it has the feet stuff in it several times.
But yeah, it is. Yeah, Trey's right. It is The Frighteners. I don't think too many people realize The Frighteners is a Peter Jackson film, but it stars Michael J. Fox, who can see dead people. This is like before, literally before
For Willis.
Yeah, before. Yeah, so the original I See Dead People film. And like the reason why Michael J. Fox's character can see dead people is because it's like basically the belief that if you like survive a traumatic event, it kind of like alters your perception in a sense and your ability to like to perceive certain things. So he's able to see ghosts. And he uses that to like he's trying to figure out because he claims that he saw his wife be murdered, but people believe like like it was believed that he's the one who did it, and it's like show like like despite the fact that like showing that he didn't, and people like believe that well he must have like been like hallucinating or something because like they were in a car accident when like the whole incident happened. But as a result of the accident, he can see ghosts. So he uses that to his advantage and basically has two of these ghosts primarily haunt locations, which will force people to call for his services. He comes in, he cleanses the house essentially, and then, gets paid. However, during this, there's a Grim Reaper looking ghost that is actually killing people. And when this Grim Reaper ghost is killing people, it marks the corpses before killing them with numbers on his or her foreheads. And the mystery is what's going on there? Why are there there's numbers showing up people's foreheads, and why is this ghost killing people? And that's where I kind of want to stop describing this movie, because if you have not seen it, well, I might accidentally give away the twist. Yeah, he's essentially a scam artist who becomes a hero, and this has like I got to look this up because I can't remember the actor's name. Is it Jeffrey Combs?
Yeah, Reanimator.
Yeah.
Awesome
he's in this
actor.
He's in this as well. He's kind of like this like he's like really wants to prove that not only is like Michael J. Fox's character a fake, but that he's the one who actually killed his wife. Sort of situation. So he's kind of like hounding Michael J. Fox's character while Michael J. Fox is trying to figure out what's going on. Because not only is this Grim Reaper ghost able to kill people, but it's able to also kill other ghosts. So he's trying to solve this mystery while keeping this other guy off his tail. There's a little bit of a love interest in this movie, but I like the fact that it's not overly done. Like you can tell, like it's like there's a little bit of a love interest there, but it's not necessarily the focus. Telling you all to watch Frighteners. I'm just saying, like it's like if you have not seen it, I think watch it at least once and form your own opinion if you've not seen it. And like I said, I don't think too many people know it's a Peter Jackson film.
It's kind of a movie where you either like it or you don't.
Yeah.
Actually.
So it's like it's not. There's no real, I would say, in between necessarily with this movie.
Yeah. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work.
Yeah, but it works for me. So I had to put it on my list because I enjoy watching this movie. We're on number 7, Gravy.
It actually didn't work for me. I rewatched it just before Christmas, and yeah, it didn't work for me. I get why people like it though. So it's not like I hate the movie, but it was just nah.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's kind of like Peter, like all of Peter Jackson's earlier movies. You either like them or you don't. There's no real in between.
Yeah.
But this one I do like. So I had to put it on my list because if it's on, I'll sit down and watch it. And that's The Frighteners from 1996.
Yeah. And there's, there's no wrong choices in these top 10s.
Yep. And number 6, which I had to include this movie, even though it's pretty much a long ass version of an episode, essentially, of the television series itself, and that is Mystery Science Theater 3000, the movie. Now, if you don't know what Mystery Science Theater 3000 is, the premise is first it started out with Joel Hodgson, and then it moved to Mike Nelson, and then I have no idea who it got revived recently, and it starred people I had. Well, one of them was Patton Oswalt, whom I can't fucking stand anymore. But like a host of other people that I don't even know who the fuck you are. But basically, Joel Hodgson, Joel Robertson, played by Joel Hodgson, basically, is a maintenance worker who's sent up into space by this mad scientist and his henchman. Mad scientist character's name is Dr. Clayton Forrester, played by Trace Berlow, and TV's Frank, played by Frank Conniff. And to kind of torture this man per scientific experimentation, essentially, they make him watch bad movies. But to alleviate the pain of watching the bad movies, Joel creates these robots that help him watch the movies, and they basically riff it. Now they do riff tracks, but they riff it. So they like make sarcastic comments and all that like stuff during the movie, which like some are like episodes are actually really funny. You have the two that primarily go into the theater with first Joel and then Mike is Tom Servo and Crow T Robot. Tom Servo is voiced by Kevin. What's his name? Kevin Murphy. And Crow is voiced by Trace Below. Yeah, so if you've not seen any of the episodes, Trey, at least watch the movie. It'll give you like, in the movie form, give you a feel for like what the series is like. And the movie that they show in the MST3K, the movie, is This Island Earth. So basically, it's like what we would want to do while watching a bad movie in a theater, and that is basically like riff it to hell. Yeah, I'd say like check at least the movie out, because like you don't like you have to find the episodes themselves for when it was on TV and so forth. It might be a little bit difficult for some of them, but at least find if you can find the movie, check it out from 1996. So I had to basically include it, and like that's basically the gist of the movie. So if you know the series, you know the movie and so forth, and like they have little skits in between, like going back and forth from the movie and so forth. So it adds a little bit of humor to the overarching episode or movie. But there it is. MST3K, the movie, is my number 6. And your turn.
My number 6 is one of those movies that had a female lead in an action movie that wasn't supposed to exist before 2015.
Mm-hmm.
It's The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Yes. Unfortunately, I did not have it on my list because, well, I had to narrow it down to 10. Yeah, Long Kiss Goodnight, worth watching.
Oh yeah, Samuel Jackson's fantastic in it too. He plays kind of like the sidekick to Gina Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Gina Davis used to work for the CIA back in the day. She got shot in the head and lost her memory, and she married and had a kid, and she gets spotted by some old enemies while she's on TV for a Christmas parade. She's Mrs. Claus or something waving.
Mm-hmm.
Then she starts getting her her memory back more and more, and it turns out it's this huge conspiracy going on. And Gina Davis is great in this one. She definitely an action star. And I'd say she is a bigger action star than Sigourney Weaver. And here's why. Sigourney Weaver only does action for the last third of one movie. If you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Does Aliens. She doesn't do action until the end of Aliens.
Yeah.
And she doesn't do action in anything else.
Mm-hmm. No.
Right? So while it's a big movie she did action in, she's only done for a third of a movie. But Gina Davis did it in I think I have this on my list last time, the pirate movie.
Yeah, Cutthroat
Uh,
Island. You had that. Yeah, you had that.
Yeah, but yeah, same director actually as Cutthroat Island. The villain in Cutthroat Island plays one of the villains in this one. But great action movie. Um, also takes place during Christmas. It doesn't have a Christmas message though. But
Hmm.
um, if someone hasn't seen Long Kiss Goodnight, I happily recommend it. Yes, Kay Roberts. Gina was great in the character transformation stuff. Awesome. She nailed it.
Yeah,
But
or
yeah,
Abomination. Yep. So, yeah. Number 5.
number 5. I finally have an animated movie. It's been a while. I don't think I've had
Hmm.
one since Beauty and the Beast.
Hmm.
This is a fucked up one though. Beavis and Butthead Do America.
That's on my list.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It is. The second one is not so good, but this one has like the right amount of psycho.
Yeah. It would not be able to be made today.
No, Bruce Willis is in it.
Yeah.
Voices the villain, and Demi Moore.
And all really stems from Beavis and Butthead wanting to get their TV back
Yep.
because their TV is stolen.
Yep.
It's kind of like I don't want to equate it to Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but in a way, it kind of is like that because Pee-wee's Big Adventure it all stems from Pee-wee's bike getting stolen. That's it.
Yeah.
In this case, it's
Nah.
like their TV getting stolen, but it's more fucked up.
Yeah. They basically go on a road trip
Hmm.
around the U.S. and fuck up everything they come in contact with.
Yeah.
Really, including the life of their neighbor. Was it Mr. Anderson?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, who keeps accusing them of whacking off in my tool shed, which they do.
Hmm.
Yeah, they mess up the Hoover Dam. They do something really blasphemous inside a church. Yeah, this is if you're in the right mood. This movie is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. It is worth
Right.
watching, and like I said, it's messed up, but it's really
Yeah.
funny. But it's really funny.
It's messed up in the perfect way, and I was kind of worried that since the Beavis and Butthead episodes were usually like 5 minutes or whatever back in the day, they weren't long. They got longer later on, but I wasn't sure if they could make it work for a whole movie. But yeah, even if you've never seen Beavis and Butthead, this is an excellent comedy.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's worth watching, and I'll go into it a little bit when we get to it on my list, but not a lot. Anyway, my number 5. I almost said 4. My number 5 is pretty much, I would say, if you were young watching this movie, you probably, at least for a little while, had a thing for goth chicks.
That one.
A little bit, yeah. The Craft. So, it's like for me, enjoyable. Maybe not objectively the best witch movie, but how do you pronounce her first name? I'm like just like fucking blanking.
Oh, for Faruka.
Veruca. Jesus Christ. Yeah. She does crazy very fucking well.
Hell yes, she looks psycho.
Yes. Feruza Balk. Basically, I was like trying to remember how to pronounce her first name.
Yeah.
She plays Psycho very fucking well. All right, and basically, Robin Tunney plays this new girl who, like, is like, like is like recently moved and so forth, and she's like, not quite necessarily fitting in to her new school settings, and she has powers. Like, she genuinely has inherited powers. Fairuza Balk, Nev Campbell, and Rachel True, I believe, those three are wannabe witches. They can like do little incantations and things like that and so forth, and they eventually do develop some type of powers. But ultimately, Robin, like Tunney's character, is the one that's born with like actually natural powers. Like, there's a scene where she's demonstrating how she can like literally change the color of her hair just by running her hands over her head.
Yeah, well made, actually,
Yeah.
for its time. And I'm not sure if you remember this,
Mm-hmm.
but back in the 90s, you had all these people claiming to be witches or vampires.
Yeah.
The vampire stuff started with an Interview with a Vampire, and then people started, to be special. They started pretending they were actually vampires.
Yeah, I think a lot of it was feeling special, and also I think it was like a mental issue as well.
Yeah,
There are people who do actually believe that they are vampires or reincarnated vampires, and I'm like, that's not how it works.
yeah. This movie started the witch stuff.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, everyone out there that wanted to be special claimed to be a witch.
Yeah,
and they bought.
But still, the movie is good.
Oh yeah,
Keith Ulrich plays like a good, like he's good as a scumbag.
yeah. It's not the movie's fault, but it's just,
no. But
I remember that's where it happened.
Yeah. Well, I'm not blaming the movie necessarily, but Skeet Ulrich, who's like famous for another movie that came out the same year, that's on my list. He plays like basically a scumbag teenager. Don't want to say what he does, but he does something bad, or he's a jerk essentially. And like the Robin Tunney's character kind of wants to get even with him a little bit because of like how he's behaved. But Fairuza Balk's character like really wants to get even with him.
She gets power hungry.
Yeah.
She succumbs to the dark side almost on day damn one.
Yes. So, like I said, it's. I don't want to go too much into detail of this movie because if you have not seen it, I'm not saying that necessarily there's a twist, but at the same time, it's like you need to watch their performances. And I'm with Trey. Like the racism subplot was like meh because Christine Taylor, I want to say or whatever. It's like there's a girl who's like basically like like racist towards Rachel True's character.
It's Ben Stiller's wife.
Yeah, and like she's like racist towards like Rachel True's character. And that was the motivation of True's character, like when she like gets her powers, essentially what's like she's going to do first, essentially. And it could have been you could have removed that from the movie and it would have changed nothing. You could remove that angle from the movie and it would have changed nothing.
This movie is very 90s.
Yeah.
It you can tell from 10 minutes that this is 90s.
Mm-hmm. Somehow and it's MTV Movie Awards, so but there it is. Yeah, but like The Craft is my number 5.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 4.
Fun movie.
My number 4 is a Muppet movie. I had to include it on my list because it's one of the Muppet movies I do very much enjoy, like recent ones that I do very much enjoy. It is based on a classic novel where Tim Curry plays the character Long John Silver, and most of the cast is made up of Muppets. It also has Billy Connolly in a small role at the beginning of the movie, and his role, although small, is memorable. And that is Muppet Treasure Island.
You know what? Mm-hmm. That's Treasure Island is one of my favorite novels of all time, and it's the first novel I read ever. So, that's why I haven't seen this movie, because I was a bit nervous. That
Well, I
it
mean,
might,
it's like a Muppet version of the movie. So you basically
Yeah.
watch it as a Muppet movie. Like, you know, it's like
Yeah.
it's kind of like Muppet Christmas Carol, which
Yeah.
I've read Christmas Carol, but I still love the Muppet Christmas Carol. Like, yeah, it takes liberties because it's a Muppet movie.
yeah, and
So
you
it's
can't
not
have you can't have the killings and stuff.
Yeah, that's
But-
what I'm saying. It's going to take some liberties. It's going to have like the Muppet like humor and things like that, and it's going to like maybe split some characters. Like, it's like like gone. Like, they're going to play certain characters that might not exactly be necessarily accurate to the characters, but like it's Kermit playing this character.
Did you did you ever read Treasure Island, the book?
Years ago?
It has aged really well, more so than Dracula and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would say just watch it once. Like, don't necessarily watch it expecting necessarily like incredible accuracy to Treasure Island, because it is a Muppet version of the story, so there are going to be liberties taken.
Yeah.
But
As it should.
but I love it. I like it's like there's even an adult joke in a sense in this movie where they're like reading off the names of the crew to see it's reading the name and listening for the person's response to make sure he or he's on board, and they read and they usually just have to watch it. It's like kind of an adult humor in that scene. But Muppet Treasure Island I had to include because that's part of my childhood. So, but there it is. That's my number 4. So if you know the Treasure Island story, it's not like it's going to be I don't need to explain the story to you necessarily from this movie.
Hidden treasure.
Yeah, it pretty much is. It's looking for buried treasure.
Yeah,
that's it. That's it. Yeah. So that's my number 4.
Yeah. My turn.
Yep.
Well, I have another underrated one. This is really underrated, in my opinion. The Ghost in the Darkness.
Now I've seen that. I watched it again recently. Did not make my list, but yeah, it is underrated.
Yeah, starring Val Kilmer and Michael Douglas.
Mm-hmm.
It's got King Theoden is in it too. Plays the Doctor.
Yeah.
Based on a true story, I'm sure this movie embellishes it.
Oh yeah, it definitely embellishes it, but it is based on a true story of literally man-eating lions.
Yeah. And Val Kilmer is tasked with building a bridge in is it Tanzania?
I can't remember exactly where it is, but it's in Africa.
Yeah. Building a bridge, and he has a certain amount of time to do so. This takes place in the 1920s, I think, or late 1800s, maybe. Yeah, I think it's late 1800s.
Yeah, let's look it up. I think it's because the French have colonized the Congo area. So I want to say it's like late 1800s to early 1900s. Even though I just recently rewatched this movie, can't remember exactly when it was. But yeah, it's in Africa. But I remember they brought up the whole Belgian, the diamonds and things like that. Yeah. So
anyway, 2 lions start stalking the area because lots of people, lots of food, right?
Yeah.
However, these lions don't kill for food.
No,
they kill for fun, and they start picking off the workers more and more, and Val Kilmer needs to come up with a way to get rid of them because the workers start striking and stuff like that. And it gets worse and worse and worse, and eventually Michael Douglas shows up. He's an experienced hunter. They managed to kill one of the lions. The other one's still around, and these are 2 male lions.
Yeah.
The male ones aren't usually the ones doing the hunting. That's the females.
So like as you pointed out, these males aren't exactly hunting for food.
Yeah,
They're basically hunting because they want to kill something.
Yeah, They're basically mad with bloodlust, and they are terrifying in this movie.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it almost functions as Jaws with the the tall grass in the savannah is
Yeah.
the ocean, right? And you can sometimes glimpse the lions out there. You know, very kind of like the opposite of claustrophobic, but it's more like open space
Agoraphobic.
claustrophobia. Yeah, agoraphobic. Um, and in most cases, if they spot you, you have nowhere to run.
No.
The trees aren't that tall, and they can climb.
Yeah.
And Val Kilmer gives an excellent performance, as does Michael Douglas and everyone else involved.
Hmm.
But I don't think this was a big hit.
No, again, it's like another movie that's. I had to look at the box office. I think it did well at the box office, but it wasn't like people were like, like, oh, you absolutely have to see this movie. Like, it wasn't like anything like that.
Yeah, it's
And the lions are stuffed. I think they're in a museum somewhere. Because like
Yeah.
that's like one of the things that obviously the movie could not portray accurately, and that is like the lions themselves, the actual lions, like did not have manes.
oh that means they're female.
No, they like there is like they were males. Like they actually did the killing, but there's like something like like sometimes like they don't have, um
They don't have the manes.
yeah, they don't have like the lions like they were males.
Hmm.
They just did not have the manes because of a condition they had.
Hmm.
So it's
Maybe
like very like it's a very rare condition. So it's like you'd be hard pressed to find any lions now that had like males that would be born without manes.
No. Yeah, this isn't this is not Simba and Mufasa,
No.
but excellent movie. And if I had to make a top 5 list of the best Val Kilmer movies, this would be on it.
Yeah.
But if someone hasn't seen this one, definitely worth a watch.
Yeah. There is like a mange. Yeah. So it's like they were males, but they had that, which no manes, hairless around the heads, or at least like in that regard. But the movie gave them manes, like I said, because like unless you found 2 lions that had mange, like males that had that condition, like you'd be hard pressed to find them nowadays.
Ironic, given that they're the main characters.
Yeah. So, but there it is.
Anyway, that was my number 4, and I'm supposed to do 3.
Yeah.
I think this might be on your list as well.
Mm-hmm.
I just recently rewatched it. Twister.
Nope, not on my list.
Really?
Did not make my list. Like I said, I had to narrow it down from 55 movies, so it's like there were a lot that I had to leave off. Like I had to leave off even The Rock, which I rewatched recently. So it's like,
yeah. Well, Twister. Bill Paxton shines in this one, and Helen Hunt as well. Basically, they're tornado enthusiasts. They chase them and try to do research on them. And
they're like they would be called storm chasers now, but yeah, they chase twisters.
Yeah. And they eventually, during the movie, a big one hits, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing much to say, really. It's a bit of a disaster movie, but it's more lighthearted in a way.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as Deep Impact or anything, but it's really really well made and really well acted, and a lot of it is practical effects in this movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is Bill Paxton shines. He probably does a 10 out of 10 for what he's needed to do in this. Yeah, Twister. I bet you everyone's seen it. And to be honest, the sequel they did, was it last year or the year before? That one wasn't too bad.
I have not seen Twisters. I'm going to watch it eventually. I'm going to watch it eventually.
Yeah.
But I'm going with like no expectations whatsoever.
Yeah, that's the correct thing to do because there's no Helen Hunt or Bill Paxton.
Hmm.
This is a new team and all. I think maybe they mentioned something from the first one, but it's like brief. So it's entirely its own thing, but still a kind of sequel. But
Hmm.
it's not bad. There's another one with the guy who plays Thorin from The Hobbit, Richard
Oh yeah,
Armitage.
Richard Armitage.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but it's 10 years old, maybe.
I had to look it up. I
Uh,
know what you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah, also not bad.
Hmm. I think I saw it on the Sci-Fi Channel.
That could be. Yeah, Into the Storm. That's yeah. I really enjoyed that one too. But anyway, my number three is Twister.
All right. My number three is a movie that you brought up already, so I'm not going to go too much into detail, and that is the Adam Sandler film Happy Gilmore. One of his probably stands out as like in my top Adam Sandler comedies.
You're supposed to do your number three.
Yeah, it's my number three.
Oh, thought you said two.
No, it's my number three. It's a movie that you already talked about, and so
Yeah, I
it's
wrecked it right away.
yes, but it's Happy Gilmore. So I'm not going to go. I think you heard me say I'm not going to go too much into it. So you might have thought I was saying two, but I'm not going to go too much into it because we already kind of talked about it. But Adam Sandler has to earn money to buy back his grandmother's house. Otherwise, it's going to go. I think it's in foreclosure basically. But when it goes into foreclosure, it goes up for a bid, essentially, and people so she's losing her house literally out from under her. So he has to earn money, and to do so, he enters the what's it called? What's the golf tournament called? I have no idea, basically. But he enters a bunch of golf tournaments because as a failed hockey player, he has a really good drive. And Carl Weathers plays Stubbs, who helps him work on his putts. Because that's where Adam Sandler's character Happy fails at. He's really good at driving the ball down the fairway, but he's very bad at chubs. Why am I? Yeah, he's very bad at putting. Yeah, he's very bad at putting. I'm really tired, Chad. I apologize. But Carl Weathers, takes him to a mini golf course and so forth to help him work on his putting. Bob Barker has a good scene in it. Richard Kiel, his hands are really that big. I've met Richard Kiel.
Oh, he's massive.
Yeah, massive, and his hands were really that fucking big. So Joe Flaherty, may he rest in peace as well, because Carl Weathers and Joe Flaherty have both passed away, who were both in the movie. He stands out also. He has a small role, but he's the one that yells "jackass" to try to he plays the heckler in the movie, to taunt Happy Gilmore during some shots to throw him off.
Actually, a lot of the actors in this movie has passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Richard Kiel too.
Yeah, so Richard Kiel, Carl Weathers, Joe Flaherty. I first saw Joe Flaherty as part of Second City Television, which is kind of like the competition to SNL for a while. Second City Television had Joe Flaherty, Catherine O'Hara, Eugene Levy, Harold Ramis at one point, Martin Short, I believe, at one point, Rick Moranis, Dave Thomas, John Candy. I think more greats on Second City TV in terms of comedy than SNL, in my opinion, at that time. So I remember Martin Short played Fred Rogers at one point in a skit. And it was fucking hilarious. John Candy played Orson Welles. That was also hilarious. Dave Thomas played Liberace in a skit with John Candy as Orson Welles. But anyway. But yeah, Second City Television, in my opinion, in terms of the two that started it all, essentially, is better than Saturday Night Live. But anyway. So yeah, number 3 is Happy Gilmore. So I do number 2. I'm not going to talk too much about this also because we talked a bit about this as well, and that's Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Oh,
Again,
you had it that high too.
yeah. Well, because it's so fucking dark.
Yeah,
It's so
it's
fucking psychotic, and it's so funny. I
yeah,
had to put it. I had to put it high, and I put it that high.
it's perfect.
Yes, because
You
again,
know that scene when Anderson is camping and he doesn't know that Beavis and Butthead has wrecked the Hoover Dam.
yeah,
He's like, "This is God's country,"
yeah.
and then the flood comes.
So it is like it is essentially is an extended Beavis and Butthead episode, but they do it so fucking well, and it really all starts simply, as I said, because their television set is stolen. That's it. That's what
Yeah,
propels this plot forward.
yeah.
But it's so good because they go from scenario to scenario to scenario, and each scenario they fuck it up in their own way, and as they progress, across America, just to get another television set, either
This
find their television set or get another one, or to be
this
able to
would be
afford another one.
this would be so R-rated today because of the constant scenes of you know the teens doing drugs.
Yeah,
That's a big
exactly.
no-no now.
No, can't have that. But yeah, so like that's all I'm gonna say. Because as I said, we talked about this before. Like Steak had it on his list a little higher up. Um, so that's what I'm gonna say. If you have not seen it, I think it's worth watching, especially if you like Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, I actually want to rewatch it now,
Yeah.
and I want to get it on Blu-ray.
hmm Anyway, you're number 2.
My number 2 is From Dusk Till Dawn.
Okay.
Starts off as a crime movie, and then takes a turn. And here's the
Yeah.
thing: if you watch this, people who watch this for the first time on streaming services,
hmm
they get spoiled because they put the twist in the damn description.
Yeah.
Uh, Teresa she watched it for the first time,
hmm
and she was like, "Damn it, it's right there in the damn description on Netflix or whatever it was,
Yeah.
right?"
hmm
Yeah, they run across these creatures, and it was
Yeah.
even like a picture of it right there, before you press play, right?
Yeah.
So way to go, streaming services.
Yeah.
No, give away the twist before they even start the movie. But I'm going to spoil it anyway, though, because I bet you people
See,
are
I
going
didn't
to
watch
see
it
it.
in theaters, but I watched it before it got to streaming, so I at least did not see
Yeah,
that twist coming.
yeah. I remember seeing it at a friend's place, and he
Yeah.
was he said, "Yeah, it's just kind of like a gangster movie, right?"
Yeah.
He didn't give away the vampire stuff,
hmm
so I was like, "Damn, this it's like it's almost like two movies."
Pretty much.
And what is it? Cheech Marin is in it.
Yeah.
He
He
plays
plays like plays 3 characters.
yeah. Danny Trejo's in it, and Tom
Tom
Savini.
Savini with the crotch gun.
Yeah. Uh,
Yes, it's
all,
I can't say that was a serious face.
yeah. All kinds of Salma Hayek, who had just been in Desperado the year before.
hmm Yeah.
This was probably her breakthrough role because she didn't wear much, and that was enough back then.
Yeah.
Um, Quentin Tarantino plays a creeper. Probably not much
He plays
acting
a
involved.
psychotic. Like he plays a psychotic.
Oh, yeah. Juliette Lewis, Harvey Keitel.
Yeah.
This was also what made George Clooney into a big star. This movie, because he was a
Yeah.
TV actor before that,
Yeah.
so his career went boom, straight up. Um, the band that does the soundtrack is in the movie
hmm
as as a vampire band, actually.
Yeah. hmm
Um, yeah, it's very violent, very psycho, really well written, some character development, and then it goes nuts and turns into a fairly good vampire movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, because
So,
literally, like, it becomes a survival film.
yeah,
Like once like the mayhem dies down, it becomes a survival film with those who are still alive, so to speak.
yeah, yeah. But a great watch if you watch it without getting it spoiled.
Yeah.
So Teresa was pissed because she would have loved that, not knowing that twist.
Like I said, I got at least lucked out because like I saw it before it came to streaming.
Yeah, I watched it on VHS, which I still to this day think VHS is the better format for this movie, especially with the scenes at the Titty Twister bar when the vampires attacks. Because if the picture is a bit more grainy and stuff, it adds to movies like that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
If the picture is too clear, you can sometimes see that the vampires are wearing costumes, right? But if it's a bit grainy, you don't see that. But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, From Dusk Till Dawn.
Right. And before we go into our number one, I'm going to read down the list of my movies from 10 to 2. You'll do the same, and then we'll go into our number one movies.
Yeah.
From 10 to 2, mine go The Phantom, Independence Day, Dragonheart, The Frighteners, MST3K The Movie, The Craft, Muppet Treasure Island, Happy Gilmore, and Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Yeah, I have Happy Gilmore, Freeway. Everyone go watch Freeway. It's awesome. Broken Arrow, The Phantom, The Long Kiss Goodnight, Beavis and Butthead Do America, The Ghost and the Darkness, Twister, and From Dusk Till Dawn.
Okay. And you start number one.
Number one is The Rock.
Okay.
It's a damn good movie, but also a close to perfect action movie. Starring Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery. And Ed Harris as a antagonist, I'd say, because he has stolen some chemical weapons, taken over Alcatraz, and is threatening to launch a chemical attack on San Francisco. And he's doing that because he has worked for the government as a soldier, and sometimes they've had to do stuff that nobody's supposed to know about, which means all the people, the soldiers he's lost over the years and stuff like that, they have never gotten any recognition, or the families haven't gotten any money for their service. Yeah, nothing. So he has a point. He's not a a mustache twirling villain. This guy actually has a cause you can respect.
You can like empathize with. You may not empathize with his methods,
yeah,
but you can empathize with his motives.
Yeah. Michael Biehn is in it as a Navy SEAL as well. The late great Tony Todd plays one of the villains. He's more of a crazy one though. But Nicolas Cage is kind of like a chemical weapons expert with not much, field experience. He's working for the CIA or FBI, I can't remember. And they have to team up with Sean Connery, who is a former MI6 agent, I think, who at some point escaped Alcatraz. He's now basically kept in a cell like Hannibal Lecter almost. So they need him to show them the way in. Basically, escape in reverse.
Yeah.
Things goes bad, and pretty soon it's only Connery and Cage left, and they have to deal with. They need to disarm the bombs, or rather the missiles, and so that the Alcatraz can get um, not nuked but bombed to shit, and the threat taken out that way. So
Yeah.
Claire Filoni is in it too, I think.
I know I recently rewatched it, but I have to go back and look at the cast.
Yeah, I think she plays his wife,
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage's wife. But yeah, awesome movie, superbly acted, great villain, and actually a very good soundtrack. And yeah, the Michael Bay movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Probably his breakthrough movie.
I say probably was what put him on the road to like being like, like start like really cemented his career.
Yeah, but yeah, The Rock. It was, and all probably one of Connery's better roles, actually.
So, all right, my number one is the same as Trey's, and I can't go too much into it because if you do not see it, I don't want to spoil any reveal that happens in this movie. But in my opinion, it should have been a one-off because it perfectly parodies the slasher genre. And basically, Wes Craven did this as a way of parodying the slasher film genre, and that is Scream. Hello, Xavier. So I essentially like the scary movies up through 3. After that, I think they go downhill. They become too much of a parody, like leading way too into the parody aspect. Where 3 kind of starts that, but the first 2 work very well as at their core parodies of like the scary movies. Yeah, I know he's quoting Scream, but at the same time, it's like the scary movies which do parody the Scream films. I like through the third one.
Did you know that this movie wouldn't have looked the same if it wasn't for Norway?
Wait, what?
Yeah, the Scream movie would not have looked the same if it wasn't for Norway. Because The Mask is based on a portrait called Scream.
Oh, I was wondering
portrait.
what you're referencing. Yeah, by Edvard Munch.
Yeah.
I was wondering what you were talking about. The Mask. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I know the portrait.
Yeah. Tiny contribution to pop culture by the Kingdom of Norway.
Yes, but anyway, like I said, I can't really say too much about this movie because it is a slasher movie. Neve Campbell plays Sidney Prescott. She's like the main character. Rose McGowan plays her friend. Matthew Lillard, Skeet Ulrich, who was in The Craft. So basically, he is in 2 films at least, and from 1996.
Both with Neve Campbell.
Yes. Henry Winkler plays the principal. You have David Arquette as Deputy Dewey. What's the character? Jamie Kennedy, who plays Randy.
Courtney Cox.
Yeah, as Gail Weathers, which is like the most on the nose cliched name for a.
Yeah.
Even for a reporter, but anyway.
Imagine if she was doing the weathercast, right? Gail Weathers.
Yeah, and so she the movie starts with probably one of the most infamous openings to a horror movie with Drew Barrymore. And this is going to be a slight spoiler alert, but it's the beginning of the movie, so it's not like I'm going to spoil anything near the end of the movie. But Drew Barrymore and her boyfriend are murdered, and thus begins the slasher killings, right, in this small town. Basically, so it's like one of those small towns where it's nothing much happens, but then the shit really hits the fan because you have these 2 murders, and then it seems like the killer is progressively getting closer and closer to Sidney Prescott. Why? Well, we have to find that out by watching the movie, because there is a reason why Sidney Prescott is a target in a sense, right? And it kind of makes sense. But again, cannot say too much because there is a twist, there is a reason, and if I say too much, it'll spoil that reason and that twist.
I actually remember figuring out the twist before it happened for this
Mhm.
movie. I'm not going to say it though, but I'll type it in the private chat. Yeah. This is a classic though. This is a staple 90s movie, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah. So like I said, like, yeah. So I read what you like wrote wrote in the private chats. Yeah. So like, it's like, but again, I don't want to say too much because people who have not really seen the entire movie are like, how could that possibly have happened? Like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Like, well,
Yes, it does.
yes,
Makes
it does.
sense. Yeah.
It does. And I don't want, there's news coming out because they're making a new Scream movie. I don't want to say too much because part of what I would say would reveal part of the twist from the first movie.
Yeah. And you know what? I agree with you that it should have been a one-off,
Mm-hmm.
because what's happened to this series now with the last two movies,
Mm-hmm.
it's not good.
No.
And this is how
Oh,
you
five
actually
especially-
can.
5 especially pissed me off.
Yeah. This is how you can retroactively damage a classic,
Yeah.
because people will go watch the new stuff that actually messes up stuff that came before, and eventually you can't unsee it. It's because of the taint. And this has happened to a lot of people with Star Wars and now Indiana Jones. They can't unsee the last Indiana Jones movie, right?
No.
Where it's just sad.
Mm-hmm.
And
I have not seen the 6th one, but 5 is shit. So the last okay one I saw was 4.
Six was-
Out past the 3rd one, past the trilogy.
6 was better than 5.
But that bar was really low, so.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I said, it's like Scream, in my opinion, like I said, should have been a one-off. It perfectly parodies the slasher genre. They even even in the dialogue, parodies makes fun of the slasher genre.
Yeah.
When Sydney's on the phone with the killer, so she actually tongue in cheek points out you have this chick that runs up the stairs instead of out the front door and blah 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 blah. So it's like it actually makes fun of that genre that the movie is, and it perfectly does so. But at the same time, it still feels like a horror movie, a slasher movie. So Wes Craven did that so beautifully, and it should have been, like I said, it should have been one movie, one and done.
Yeah.
The sequel, the direct sequel, is decent. It's a decent sequel, but it was unnecessary.
Yeah, I get why they did a sequel though, because the first one it made so much money.
Yeah.
But
unnecessary.
Yeah. But heck, if we had made Scream 1, right, and it did that well, we would have made a sequel too.
Maybe. I'll say maybe. Like I said, it ends well. And I can't say how it ends because it'll spoil it. But it ends so well. It ends with resolution. It's it did not need But anyway, that's my number 1, Scream.
Yeah, it's not on my list. I think it's because Matthew Lillard annoys me and everything.
Well, he's toned down.
Oh yeah, well he's doing what he's told to do as an actor.
Yeah.
I've seen him in other things where he plays calmer characters.
Yeah.
but he got typecast for a while.
Oh yeah, definitely. Which is like more on Hollywood than him.
Yeah.
Because all he was doing was like doing what Wes Craven how Wes Craven wanted him to portray the character he was playing.
Yeah.
But because of that,
Yeah.
he played similar characters in terms of personality. So like,
Yeah.
no fault of him. He just got typecast. Because Hollywood is
Yeah.
like that.
He was actually in the new season of Twin Peaks. It was like so many famous people in that season. It was nuts.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, we are coming up on 10 o'clock my time. We were going for 2 hours when normally I try to keep this short. So yeah, those are our lists. Our top 10 1996 films. Next month will be top 1997 films.
Yeah.
Getting through the 90s, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this is our own personal top 10 list. They don't necessarily have to be objectively good or well known or anything like that. They just are personal, subjective tastes.
I
did not forget Flipper. Like I said, I had to narrow it down to 10. I do remember Flipper. In a weird way, I still enjoy it. From what I remember, because it's Flipper 1996. But Paul Hogan.
I've actually changed my stance on the 80s and 90s. I think the 90s had slightly better movies, even though the 80s had more franchise starters.
Mm-hmm.
But the 90s are grossly underrated
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to movies.
But anyway, yeah. So like I said, I had to wrap it up here, chat, because it's going on 10 o'clock. I'm going to be getting up on the early side. My morning's going to be shot tomorrow because I have to wait for the nail salon to call me back to see if they can fit me in tomorrow to fix my nail. So if I can get that done, then I will be able to do the reading stream tomorrow. But before I give my outro, Steve, let everybody know where they can find you and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I'll be on Teresa's channel at I think it's noon on Saturday. We'll be talking about the Thrawn trilogy book. It's Teresa, myself, and Rennie. But it's not going to be like a deep dive. It's just going to be how we enjoyed it when we first read it and go through the favorite parts, characters, what have you. Just talk about stuff we liked or in some cases used to like, positive stuff, which I think more and more people are doing that now. I think things are changing. People are going back and talking about good entertainment, maybe even stuff they've never encountered before. They're going back and watching stuff they missed back in the day, instead of talking about too much about the bad stuff we get today. Because if new entertainment sucks, and it usually does, you don't have to watch it. If you go back to the 90s or 80s and watch a movie you've never seen before, that's new content for you. It doesn't have to be made today to be new content for you, right? You just have to experience it the first time. So if the future is shit, turn around and go back.
Yep. Anyway, chat. Sorry, I got to speed through my outro because I have to take my dog out and get some sleep. So basically, after we're done here, I have to jump right off the StreamYard. Tomorrow, like I said, right now it's up in the air because I don't know if the salon's going to fit me in or not to fix my nail. But otherwise, I'm planning on doing a reading stream, either reading the last few chapters tomorrow if I can start early enough, like 8 p.m. Eastern. If not, then read one chapter tomorrow and one chapter Friday, thus finishing book 1 of Fellowship of the Ring this week, because I plan on possibly doing a gaming stream Saturday evening since I did not stream Monday. What I play, I'll decide at a later time for the gaming stream, but that'll be about 8 p.m. Eastern-ish, thereabouts on Kick and Twitch. And then Sunday, if my nerdy home has remembered to take the good laptop with her, we should still have Talk Nerdy to Us at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on my channel, on this YouTube channel, where we discuss nerdy topics and possibly if she sees Love Hurts as well this coming weekend, because I'm planning on seeing that. And and Hard Eyes. So I'm planning on seeing those two movies. She's planning on at least seeing Love Hurts, hopefully. So if she's able to see it, we can talk about that, as well as other pop culture news that comes into play this past week. So at any rate, ladies and gentlemen, have a good rest of your day or evening wherever you are in the world. And I will see you all, let's just say 70:30 tomorrow for a reading stream, finishing up Book 1 of Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. Good night, stay safe, and peace.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.